Thank you. All good. Ready to roll.
So how did Shador progress from his first start to his second start?
Yeah, took care of the football, there throughout the game, which is a positive, something that with young players you stress. I thought operationally it was cleaner. As he gets more comfortable, more reps, more opportunities in and out of the huddle, communicating at the line of scrimmage, felt like we had more time at the line of scrimmage to get some things called up front. So, I think ownership of the system, ownership of what we're asking him to do, making good decisions, I thought there was some progression there for sure.
He talked after the game Friday again and again yesterday about building trust with his receivers. How long should that take?
Yeah, I don't know if there's a set timetable on that. Obviously, every rep you get, every opportunity you get to throw routes on air, see things in practice. For young players, the first time, every time you see something could be the first time. So I think all those reps add up, and I think there's a natural progression here as they continue to work together. That trust will be built, and it's really, getting on the same page and seeing things the same way so that things can become second nature for them on the field.
But then does frustration build as we saw Jerry Jeudy
right
kind of yelling at him on the sideline?
Yeah, it's a competitive game. That's behind us at this point. I don't have any concern about their relationship, where they are, being on the same page. I think, look, everybody's competitive, wants to, play well and win games and do things the right way. So, that's something they've had a conversation on that's completely behind us and moving forward.
Do you know what the disagreement was about, like what play it was on there?
Yeah, I don't want to get into all the specifics there, except for the fact that it's a competitive environment, competitive game, and those guys have handled it, and we're all moving together on the same page.
It sounded like yesterday when Shador was talking, he said he thought he was seeing things well, but maybe not trusting enough to let it rip
right.
on some of the throws. Did you notice that?
Yeah, there's certainly some opportunities he probably wants back, and that's going to happen with a young player. You're seeing things, and things are moving quicker than you're used to, and every rep he gets, every opportunity he gets, he's going to get more and more comfortable. There's always going to be plays you want back. I think we had some things there that you felt like you had some opportunities to hit, and those are coachable moments for a young quarterback. Those are opportunities to point out, like, hey, this is what open looks like, or this is the defender that our eyes need to be on, and trust that you're going to make this throw. And in the same vein, he makes a lot of those plays too. So it's building comfort across the game plan, across the concepts, across the coverages he could see, to make sure that we can maximize all the opportunities we have. But he's done a nice job of throughout, the week of communicating and seeing things. And, hey, I need another rep of this because I want to see it again. Like, all those points are really positive and moving in the right direction.
That do you believe in the game slowing down for a player, or is that just a byproduct of kind of what you're talking about, just seeing the game better? I
think those work hand in hand. I do think it slows down as you see it, as you get more exposed to it. 5 years from now, it's going to certainly feel slower to him. 5 weeks from now, it's going to certainly feel slower to him. So I do believe in, like, there comes a moment where you can kind of just, all right, take a breath. I'm seeing these things clearly. I've had plenty of reps on this. I can feel the defensive coverage, and things are starting to click.
I mean, when you're upstairs seeing this in real time, seeing Jeudy open 3, 4, 5 times a game and not getting the ball, how do you not get frustrated during the course of the game?
Yeah, like, we're all competitive. We all want to win. We all want to play well. But my focus is why, or how do we get this corrected? It's not this. We have a young quarterback playing who's doing everything we're asking of him, doing a good job of working towards the progression. So I try to internalize it. Like, where did I not make this clean enough for him to go execute? There are plays throughout games where there's a myriad of reasons why things don't work out. It's our job as coaches to present the solutions for the players so that they can. And that's really where my focus is. It's like, I brought this example up last week. In his first, real game time against Baltimore, we called a play twice. The second time we hit Harold on that 2-minute drive for the in-cut on the first play. We had called it earlier in the game. We had really the same look where we could have completed it. So the conversation is like, hey, what are we seeing? How do we get this corrected? This is what you should key and trust it. And then the next time we did, he executed it. And so that's where our focus is as a staff. That's where my focus is in the box, and trying to be as solution oriented and solution based as possible.
So I know you guys drill into the quarterbacks, take care of the football, don't be reckless and things like that. What's the balance now, considering where you're at in the season? With, obviously wanting them to take care of the ball and protect it, but also at the same time testing their limits and what they can do in situations and the risk that does come.
Yeah, it all predicates what is the look that the defense is giving us, right? Are they giving us a look where we want to take that throw, where we are designing this to expose this coverage and get this play called and get this route thrown? If the defense predicates the look, let it rip. If they do something different or they take it away, you got to find your next read or your next solution. I've told a lot of angry receivers, look, man, I don't dictate where the ball goes. The defense does. If they play this coverage, it's going to end up here. It is what it is. It's the same thing for the quarterbacks. If they play the coverage we want and we call the right play and we get into the right look, I think the play to Harold's a great example. Let's let it rip. That's the look we want. When it's not there, let's be smart and find a solution and we'll call it again. The other plays in between, it's hey, when we have the look and we have the play, that's when it's time to let it rip, and that's where we want to make sure we're maximizing our opportunities.
With Deshaun back in practice,
yep.
What are your goals for him over the next few weeks? What are you guys trying to
make him comfortable? I think get him back in the swing of things, not put a ton of expectations on big picture, but hey, let's get back into the swing of doing drills, back into the swing of throwing full speed routes to our receivers, our tight ends, getting comfortable at the line of scrimmage, get him back feeling comfortable and playing the position and continue to work and improve, where he's at.
The fourth down play calls,
yes, sir.
Obviously they didn't go the way you wanted. Kevin talked about how you go into those situations feeling confident and you like the play call that you have. But what are those conversations like in those moments, and how do you balance feel for the game and knowing where you're at, not wanting to set your defense back versus, hey, the analytics say this, or we feel really good about it?
Yeah, look, the decision on going for it or not, Kevin does a great job of communicating that ahead of time so you can have your sequencing of plays ready to go. I would say, I've been a part of stats where you get an abrupt, hey, go for, and then you're Kevin does a wonderful job of in the sequence of calls of, hey, if we get this thing to short yardage, we're in a go area here. Look, the first call, we were damn near 100% on that scheme throughout the season. They had some movement. We can put our guys in a better position up front to handle the movement, and that's our job as coaches. And, they made a nice play there on the left side. The second one, the personnel coming in with the injuries, some of the things that we needed to manage there, got it set. That's a play we've repped since August, I think, with Harold. And we had confidence in him being able to execute that. And, I think you see across the league, you've certainly seen here in the past of the tight end sneak play with quarterbacks not sneaking as much, have a lot of success in the plays that come off of it. Certainly we saw one a couple weeks ago against Baltimore. That's a play we had confidence in. I wish it would have been smoother and cleaner. And but we're not going to lose confidence in our players. We're not going to lose confidence in the ability to be aggressive. And there are some things I internalize of, hey, are there better options here in these situations? Are there some things that we can do differently? And certainly as a staff, we're motivated to make sure we get those situations right. We had been pretty good in 4th and 1 throughout the year and felt really confident in some of those schemes. But, we're always, as you get good at something, teams are going to do some things to take it away. So our job is to make sure that we have complementary plays off of that.
Were you upstairs screaming, call timeout? Not listening.
A lot of focus on me being upstairs here with these questions, but you're welcome to come sit there. Yeah, look, I'm keeping an eye on the shot clock. Felt like we had enough time. So, we certainly got set. We just didn't execute it in the moment.
It looked like you guys had some success running the ball just in general, but on some of those short yards, even before 4th and 1, right? I think it was 2nd and 2 and 3rd and 1.
Correct, yeah. We would love to just go get it there, right? We ran the wide zone on 3rd and 1. We had a tight zone or a duo on 3rd and 2 or 2nd and 2. And, we felt like we could get – we were trying to sequence, hey, let's go steal it on this one, knowing that we're going to move forward and get the first. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut off your question.
I guess did they change something that kind of took away some of the early success?
They played us differently in the second half. They played a different front, certainly. we were still, like, if you look at those first couple drives in the second half, we were still about 5 yards a pop in the run game. You know, we had a couple good ones to get a first down. We started the drive we got stopped on. We started with the sprint out, got 8 yards, and then, you know, had 2 1-yard runs, we had been running it so much more effectively up to that point, and that's when we got stopped on fourth down. But, you know, when we were backed up, we ran 2 runs and got a first down and had some success there. So it felt like we were still running the ball at a pretty good clip. And then once it became a 2-score game, obviously the game flow becomes a little bit different. But we knew that we felt really good about our matchups and our run plan going into the game. And, you know, it felt like in the first half there was really some time where we were in control of the momentum of the game because we were able to run the ball at such a good clip. You know, for us, we fell short in some situational football. We got into the high kind of strike zone area and unfortunately went backwards and lost 3 points, or the opportunity for 3 points there. We got to a 4th and 1 twice, didn't execute. Like, we got to be really good in those critical moments to stay on the field and, you know, obviously score more points.
What are the benefits of kind of going week to week with your quarterback decision and naming the starter like that?
What are they, you said? Yeah. I just think it, you know, one, breeds confidence into the group and the player, and, you know, allows you to put a game plan together that, you know, is tailored to that individual, and one that you feel like gives them the most confidence and chance to have success.
What do you think the benefits are to having Deshaun on the practice field for these young quarterbacks that actually on the practice field?
I mean, Deshaun's been so great throughout the year in the meeting room with the young guys, with the vets. Like, I can't say enough good things about him. I really can't. And then his ability to be out there and see things and communicate, talk to those young players, them to also just, like, observe and learn from a guy that's played at a really, really high level in this league and has been through a lot of the battles that young quarterbacks face. Like, I think their ability to just see that in person and, you know, similar to what it was like when Joe was here, and being able to observe and then also be able to lean on him on the field and in the meeting room.
During the pre-draft process, you guys obviously did your due diligence on all these quarterbacks. Just what were conversations like with Cam, and, you know, what stood out about him as a player as you guys get ready?
Competitive, like ultra competitive, good free throw shooter. I think he knocked down 9 straight out here. Really enjoyed our time with Cam. Like, we'll be a fan of his and rooting for him. Just his family was great. He has a good way about him, confident, ultra competitive, like made up of the right stuff. And so we'll be rooting for Cam throughout his career. Just through my brief interactions with him leading up to the draft, like, really liked the kid and really liked what he was about.
If you guys get the chance and Deshaun is ready to run the scout team, how might that be good for your defense, just in terms of maybe seeing a dual threat quarterback?
Yeah, those are not up to me. So we'll see how things transpire. And our focus is to let's get Deshaun comfortable and better and feeling good, and then we'll see where things go. Thanks, guys.
How would you kind of wrap up how it went for you guys, you know, with the mistakes on?
Yeah, we had a few ball handling issues. You know, I think that those guys obviously have learned from those mistakes. We actually covered the Corley play in the Friday meeting, which is ironic. But you get to the sideline and he knows he made the mistake, and you just got to go. You got to be able to execute it in time. And then obviously Gage had the muff that ended up being a turnover. Young player, you know, his first time really doing it consistently and being the main guy. We had there's a significant win. They're not making an excuse for the kid, but significant win playing away from the dog pound. He's made that catch a million times. So just got to be able to finish it and focus and finish on the catch.
Are they supposed to catch the ball out of bounds?
No, so what you can do in that situation, I think the ball had enough momentum on it that it was going to just go out of bounds anyway. But we tell our guys that if it's close and the ball was rolling near the sideline, establish your foot out of bounds, and then you can contact the ball, and the ball would go to the 40. So I just think, I would say he's new to the position, hasn't had a ton of experience back there, and I think with experience that he'll continue to improve and get better. Obviously, it was unfortunate with the drive start there, but I'm confident that these guys are going to continue to work and push through it. So,
you guys drill that during the week?
We cover it. I mean, we cover it every week. We cover it every week. We have situational stuff that we do every Friday. We're always talking about the rules, especially with the new kickoff format. There's a lot of things that play into that, and our guys have been educated on all those things. We just got to make sure that we're applying them into the game.
Did you think about having someone else at least ready to back up Gage or Bates or somebody? What could you have done? What could
yeah, I think that for right now, what our roster looks like, I think Gage is our best option. So we have a lot of faith in him to get it right. And look, he understands that there's a lot of pressure at that position, and we got to be able to answer. We got to be able to answer the bell. And he'll put the work in, he'll put the time in to be able to do so.
On the kickoff at the end of the first half, did you guys intend to have that be a touchback?
We did not. Like I said, they actually had one too that they looked like they were trying to force, and there's a fine line with the new format. It's like there's times where you want to force the return, but there's other times where you don't want to you want to force the return, but you don't want to leave the ball too short and let them catch it at the 15-yard line. But different than last year, because now last year you could be more aggressive when you're kicking off to put the ball near the goal line, because if it ends up being a touchback, it goes to the 30. But now it's like, okay, you can't be when we got a 30-mile-an-hour wind at our back going that way. He just taps the ball a little too hard, and now you're 5 deep in the end zone. So there's a fine line. That's the thing with the new touchback rule going to the 35. You can't be as aggressive to put the ball right at the goal line, because one yard further than the goal line into the end zone, it's a touchback. So,
what about this guy DK?
Yes.
Did you coach him?
I did. Yeah, I love the kid.
What does that mean to your coverage units this week?
We got to have. I mean, first off, great kid. Really enjoyed coaching him that week at the Senior Bowl. Great, really good skill set, fast, good ball skills, good ball security, very good vision, has the ability to run every type of return out there. So we'll have to do a good job. Look, since I've been a player and as a coach, I've coached coverage the same way. I've coached leveraging the football the same way. We need to just do a better job of making a tackle. Right, even in the game, we have multiple bodies at the spot, at the point of attack. Just got to find a way to make a tackle, And our players understand that. They know their responsibilities and what they're asked to do. We just need to execute at a higher level.
That's what you would say, about the Sky Moore.
Yeah, if you go back and watch the clip, I mean, we have 7 guys right at the point of attack. We need to just make a tackle.
Is DK the best right now in the league? I know his numbers say he is, but do you feel he is?
I think he's definitely one of the best. I do. I think he's one of the best in the league. It'd be hard to say Marcus Jones isn't right there. Marcus Jones has done it for multiple years. But both, I mean, there's a lot. I will say there's a lot of talented returners in the league right now. Probably more than I can remember, honestly. Usually you can say, hey, this guy's the best guy, Those guys, Turpin. I mean, there's a bunch of guys that are out there right now.
How can you explain the kind of the hot and the cold that your unit has been on these, this season? How can you kind of say, is that just the nature of special teams, or is there just something?
Yeah, I think a lot of things factor to it. I think just the continuity within the group, that having like a mixed bag of a lot of young players paired with some veterans that haven't had as much experience doing it. There's something to be said about just being able to be comfortable playing in the kicking game, you know. I just remember like when we had our best units when I played here in 2009 and 10, we obviously had a really, really good returner, but we had a group of core players that had played together and were very comfortable, like me, Blake, Trusnick, Nick. Like we had Luke Kaluka. Like we had a group that was like very we just played well together, and you just play off of each other. And I think we're just trying to get to that level, you know, because of how we're built. And you have a lot of young guys that are playing out there. So I think that in time, and I'll say this too, like, I don't know any other way than to just keep pushing these guys to work. Like, just keep working, just work at it. Just keep working at it. And the more reps we get, the better that we're going to get, you know, now and on down the road. But I believe in the guys we have, and I think that we'll continue to just keep working and get better.
Are you missing that sort of enforcer guy on special teams, that special teams ace? I mean, somebody like you used to be, or like a Mike Ford type of a guy.
Yeah, I don't know if we have a guy that is like that right now. We have some veterans that are playing in like a phase or two that will be vocal at times. But yeah, we probably, you know, I would say, yeah, we probably don't have that one guy like that right now.
Two questions.
Yeah.
Corey, you said that early anyway, there was not enough hang time on his punts. Has that improved?
I think he's done a good job. Yeah, like even on the ball to Sky Moore, I think the hang time was sufficient. Yeah, I think that it was solid on that rep.
And then, are you making a lot of changes week to week on your punt coverage unit? You said that you guys trying to learn that cohesion that you had.
Yeah, I just think that the more like time on task, the more reps you get in game, the better that you're gonna get. It's relative to the personnel. No, we haven't made a ton of personnel changes. There's only so many guys you can play. You know, there's only so many guys on the roster. So you're not going to be able to make wholesale changes on those units. There's only so many players available to do so.
Is this an unusual year for punt returns around the league? It seems like there's a lot of them for touchdowns.
Yeah, like the other night. Yeah, I guess so.
Wasn't a rule change, was it?
No, there wasn't.
The punt return by Sky. Is Grant in position to make a play there? It feels like on a couple of the long ones you've given up this year, he's been first down there, but yet the guy goes by him. Does he need to break down more, or is he doing what he's supposed to do?
Yeah, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. Look, that's an extremely hard position to be in. I've missed a lot of tackles that same way. But when you're trying to time up when to like start to get in that breakdown and gather phase, you know, we can probably do a better job with that with multiple players.
For your unit going into this game after obviously not putting up the performance that you guys would have liked to and having all those mistakes last week?
I would say, I mean, we pretty much said, like, we're going to get back on track, right? Get back to the fundamentals, like we always do. We always harp on that. The thing that I do love about our group, and I've done this since I've been a coordinator in the league, is I've done the work shirt theme, like, and I want everyone to like buy into, like, it's all about the work. It's all about the work you put in during the week. It's all about the work that, you know, your group has together, and like having those guys being able to do that together, and just understanding like if we're gonna do this, like, it's got to be together, like, whether it's a good play, bad play, indifferent, whatever it ends up being, but we're working together to do so.
Do you get the sense that Kevin and the organization, that they understand that you're working with a lot of young guys, that you lost your returner at the beginning of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I truly believe that I have the support. I mean, it feels like I have the support of the head coach, the GM, and the ownership. I mean, AB, Kev, Jimmy, and J-Dub, like, those guys have been very supportive. I think they definitely understand that we've lost guys in training camp. Winston Buki, you lose DC early in the year, then you have to piece the unit together. You're adding guys late, guys that haven't had as many reps to your unit. So it's like, yeah, I have no concerns about whether they understand or I think they understand.
Hey, do they come after punts more than other teams? It looked like in that Jackson game, they at least came close to blocking a bunch.
They're aggressive. They definitely have an aggressive unit. And also, to start that game, something happened with, I don't know the exact situation, but their starting snapper was out. And then he came back in late in the game. I read it was maybe a back thing or something, but he didn't play the first handful of reps. So they looked like they had ears pinned back and ready to pressure. But no, they're a very aggressive group, well coached, good group, good unit. Obviously, great returner. So respect their coordinator a lot.
Thank you, Bubba.
Thanks.